Why, hello and welcome back to all of my friends and my fans, and of course you, yes you, all 9 of you, my fellow FTFLers, to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. That's right, boys and girls, it is time once again for the FTFL Weekly Update, and I am not only the host of this award-winning program, not only the owner and president and fearless leader of the two-time league champion Hulkamaniacs, but I am also that breath of fresh air in a room full of rotting filth. That moment where you say, you know what? Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I think we are going to make it. And make it we have through another week. It is I, Brett Sieber, host of The Update. Welcome back. So happy to be here. 5 weeks in the books. And the champ is streaking. Now, I'm not talking pants down, just meat rocket flinging around all over the place. That was actually pretty, maybe the most, wow, we should have a rating on the show. Boy, you know what? It's time for a beer already. My goodness gracious, I can't believe I said that. Anyways, woo! No, not that kind of streaking, but 4 in a row for the champ. And, oh, by the way, 4 in a row for Sid Hagen, despite the injuries that continue to pile up for Sid. Joe Burrow out for several weeks. Brock Bowers can't seem to stay healthy. Malik Neighbors, we'll see you next year. Omari and Hampton, why don't you put this boot on for a few weeks? Sid is the 6th highest scoring team in the league, yet he is 4-1. And then, what does second highest scoring team in the league get you? 2-3. That's why Luck is on the list. And speaking of the list, there'll be a couple of new permanent members residing there by the end of the show. Eric has got to be beyond thrilled that he is done playing Matt for the season. I know, not a sentence you expected to hear on the weekly update, but I said it, and I'll explain why a little bit later. Fan mail is back. That's right. We have fan mail. Here's to you. Some sort of weird hair sticking out of my beard. All of the fans. Yes. And something that I was hoping to get to, I know we've brought back a few things from the past 9 seasons of the weekly update. The list is back. Last week, we delved back into the realm of who dis. This week, we start another new segment, a look back at some of the classic moments in update history. That a little bit later on in the show, but for now, I think we should do what we do best and get to the games. The Mix and Cocktail coming in at 3-1, taking on the Hulkamaniacs at 2-2, a Fantasy Bowl rematch, and I couldn't get it done. I believe, if I look back at my notes, I'm pretty certain I played Andy in week 2, and I lost there. That sucks. I lost by 2.5. Now, Andy has both games against me already, so I'm going to have to outright beat him to win the division, which I suppose I probably still can, because I didn't go this week. 120 for Andy, 85.5 for me. If you're Andy, Dak had his best week of the season, 32 points. Jamar Chase, 25 points. Garrett Wilson, Ramondre Stevenson, 13 points apiece. Ramondre Stevenson had 7 carries for 14 yards. Yet he mustered 13 points. How, might you ask? 2 crappy, cheap-ass touchdowns. That's how. Devon Achane, 11. The Detroit defense, 10. Schrader, that kicker from, I think, was Indy, maybe, that I didn't know his name. Now it doesn't matter because he's done for the season. It's not too often a kicker has an injury where they're done for the season. 2 points. That was the only player on Andy's starting roster that was below 6.5 points for the week. If you're me, my defense, the Colts defense, was my number 1 scorer. Don't like seeing that. 17 points. Puka Nacua continues on a tear, 15. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11. Michael Pittman Jr., 10.5 points. Cortland Sutton, 10. Kyler Stupid Face Jr. Murray. When I drafted you, I look past discretions that you have inflicted on my team. I ignored it. I didn't feel good about the pick, but I made it. And this week, not only did your sorry chump ass blow it. Now, granted, you had some help there down in the desert. You blew it in a game you had no business losing, but your poor ineptitude in your inability to get arguably the best tight end in the game, the ball more, and the ball in the end zone. God! 10 points for Stupid Face Jr., and I will never have to say his name again because I kicked him to the curb like yesterday's garbage. Gone. Kyler Murray, welcome back. Arguably the greatest Hulkamaniac in the history of the franchise, Aaron Rodgers. Here's to you. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Bill on the bench, 23, probably my rookie keeper, starting to really hit his stride there in Washington. I lost 2-3. Andy moves to 4-1 in sole possession of first place in the North. Next game, the Pack Attack coming in at 3-1, taking on. I may suck at fantasy football, but at least I got my keepers in. I mentioned top of the show, Eric is probably happy to be playing Matt because he lost to Matt for the second time this year, just like I lost to Andy for the second time this year. Matt 122.5, Eric 105. Great week for Eric, but not enough. Now, in the 2 games that Matt has played against Eric, he has scored 234.5 points combined. In his other 3 games combined, he has scored 239. Last week, Matt scored 60-some points. I guess he saw Eric on the schedule and said, you know what? Tighten up the bootstraps, fellas. We got some neck to stomp, ass to kick. Either which way, he put the boots to Eric. Kyron Williams, 24 points. Jared Goff, 22. Jackson Smith-Njigba, 18. Sam Laporta, 14.5. This was his highest total since week 15 of 2023. And Justin Jefferson pulling up the rear with 11.5 points. If you're Eric, Javonte Williams, the steal of every draft everywhere. My goodness gracious, is just on fire. 20.5 points. The Bum and CMC both had 18. Travis Kelce, 13.5. Derrick Henry, 8 points. Week 1, Derrick Henry had 28.5 points. We thought, my God, he's going to break all the records, run over every last D-back, and this man is no mere mortal. And then the bottom fell smooth out. 19.5 combined over the last 4 weeks. At what point does Eric not start Derrick Henry? I said it. It's maybe something he needs to consider. Eric has 514 points for on the season and 512 against. He is 3-2. He is the highest scoring team in the league. Yet, he is getting absolutely tagged left and right at the same time. But not left and right. No, just no. Anyways, game number 3 before we get into some fan mail. Make America Great Again, coming in at 3-1, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 1-3. And I mentioned earlier that Sid now is 4-1 because he did outscore Salty this week. 86 for Sid, 75 for Saltmarsh. If you're Sid, David the Bane of My Existence, Montgomery, 16.5 points. Danny Dimes got himself a 16. George Pickens, 13 points, 12 on one play, that 40-some yard touchdown in the second half. Darren Waller, welcome back again, second week in a row. He is in the end zone, 12.5. A.J. Brown, 4.5 points. Newly acquired A.J. Brown, 4.5 points. He was the only person under 5. Omarion Hampton had 7. But as I mentioned, just the latest on a growing list of players on Sid's team that are injured. If you're Saltmarsh, Jonathan Taylor, 25.5, Jalen Hurts, 20. Everyone else had 5 or lower. Now, Salty was involved with some trades this week, or I should say a trade. And actually, to talk a little bit more about that, we're going to go ahead and open up the inbox. We always love when people reach out to the show. We love hearing your thoughts. And, of course, love a chance to interact with all of our fans of the FTFL Weekly Update. And so, let us read. Says Brett. That's me. As I was drinking my Jack and Coke, I happened to catch your show the other day for the first time in years, and I thought I would write. Just curious your take on the recent trades that have taken place, and if you think the trades will make those teams better. All right, so a couple trades did happen this week, both involving Team Linkowitz. Of course, not John Linkowitz, but Adam Swart. The first one, Mayfield and a 15th round pick were exchanged for the Vikings defense and a 4th round pick. Never, not ever, never, ever, 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 not ever, ever should a defense be involved in a trade. My good God. That's like when the Kickers were involved in a trade. You know, if we're going to allow defenses, then why not allow teams to swap entire rosters? But we don't need to digress. I mean, a 4th round pick for Baker Mayfield, I mean, you could argue for a quarterback in general. Baker's having a heck of a season. Sid's desperate. He's trying to do anything he can to hold this 6th highest scoring team together in this moment. The other one, also a Team Linkowitz trade. James Cook, a 6th and an 8th, headed off to Saltmarsh. In return, Swart gets DeAndre Swift, a 1st and a 3rd. Now, Adam Saltmarsh is 1-4. I believe he did lose this week. 1-4. Trying to make a play, trying to find that 3rd superstar to pair with Jonathan Taylor and Jalen Hurts. I think he gave up a lot. Now, some of this, well, actually, no. Now, he gave up a 1st and a 3rd. Will it be my 3rd? I think Bijan's going to be a top 5 running back, so it's probably going to be a 2nd he's getting back. He's banking on that extra pick for sure. I don't know if this is too little too late, and I'm also curious to see if you're Adam Swart. Are you able to take these picks and not bumble it the way you did all those years ago? Or do you take those picks now and trade them for other assets? And still, you have one more win than Saltmarsh has. You are in a better position than him. You could make your team great again and get a run at the playoffs. We still have 9 regular season games left to go. Let me finish out the rest of the email and then we'll move on. It says, oh yeah, I saw your buddy Bart was looking for John Linkowitz the other day. I thought I saw him by a lumber yard in Eagan. Get out. Huh. Maybe he should look there. Hope he catches the bastard. Hope he catches. All right, this is from John L. in Nevis, Minnesota. Really? Huh. Well, John L. in Nevis, Minnesota, I'm glad that after years away you have found the show and have reached out, thus maybe signaling that things are okay. A lumberyard in Eagan, you say? Well, we'll see what we can do. All right, that wraps up the fan mail. Now, I did promise it, again, in the opener. I've been looking to do this. I finally have started to pull some video back out. I present to you now, in celebration of the 10th season of the FTFL Weekly Update, a classic moment from updates past. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Like, again,
he had a run. I'm sorry.
He did, and so he laid all sorts of what I'm going to go ahead and like factless claims down about corruption in the FTFL. I don't even know where this comes from.
Let me go over that right now, 'cause I know all about this. Follow me. I have the biggest, greatest brain in the world, and we have laid this out. Watch me lay this out on paper.
You're the biggest something.
Watch this. So we got a 6th round pick.
Yeah, right. That's what Sid Hagen gave to Eric.
Exactly. But if you look at this as a corruption thing against me, this is going years back. We have the computer's fault, right?
Well,
involving Salty twice.
Saltmarsh has claimed blame on the computer at least 2, if not 3 times.
Exactly. We have the wrong.
I knew it was a toupee all along. I knew it. Now we've seen it.
The wrong Jimmy.
Well, that was last year. John, yes, did claim that the computer selected the wrong Jimmy. Yes, that happened.
We have a previous trade involving Jeff and Eric.
Correct. Where Jeff gave Eric a 2nd round pick for nothing,
which was voided by our corrupt commissioner.
It was, yes. Well, it was voted. No, it was voted. Honestly, it was voted. A diplomatic process that has been in place for a long time. Something I know you don't fully have a grasp of, Mr. President.
No diplomatic procedures. This is involved. This has gone back of Eric probing the FTFL with his computer knowledge. Secretly,
you're saying he hacked into the system?
Hacked into the system. The computer's fault. The wrong trade. The wrong Jimmy. This is all a setup between Jeff, our former commissioner Ryan, and Jeff. They all get something out of this.
You said Jeff twice. You mean Eric?
Yes.
So Eric, this has all been in motion for years?
Years. And they've all got something out of this.
What does that have to do with the 6th round pick?
So watch this. The 6th round pick. So first of all, we got Eric.
Okay,
Damn Sharpie.
It's back now. I think it dried out a little bit, kind of like your brain.
Probing the system.
Probing, yes.
Probing.
Eric.
Probing the system.
Okay.
We got Jeff involved in this because he's got 3 championships out of this setup. So
he does have 3 titles.
Jeff.
You are correct. There's Jeff. Penmanship is remarkable, Mr. President.
Only the best.
Okay.
Jeff, right, was a part of this.
He got 3 titles.
He set up the original
really
fake
something.
trade with Eric to make it look like it was the computer's fault and no hacking going on. And then we got
you're saying
the commissioner, the former commissioner, Ryan.
Geez, we are in deep. Okay, there's Ryan, yes.
Who voided the trade. This looked like an accident.
An accident, okay.
To set up this year's trade.
Yes.
That now everybody is voting on legitly to screw Sid over. So Jeff is out of the loop. It makes it look like a fake trade that never happened. With Ryan getting 2 championships out of this since he was the commissioner. Jeff getting his 3rd, and Eric getting a free pick.
Who did Jeff beat in all 3 championship games? I mean,
I don't know.
At least 2 of them. Was it not Sid Hagen?
At least 2. At least 2. I don't know about the 3rd. But, so Jeff's championship should be voided. Deeson's championship should be voided. And Sid should get his pick back.
Hold up. What did Eric get out of this?
He got a 6th-round pick.
A 6th-round... all of this background, all of this work to corrupting a 6th-round pick, that was the payoff?
It was brilliant, but not as brilliant as this. I figured this whole thing out. And Salty was on the right trail. It was almost the computer's fault, but not quite. It was Eric's fault.
Jeez Louise.
And...
Are you done?
You have figured it out.
Are you done?
Almost.
Almost? What, there's more?
There's more.
How could there be more?
You fools. It's me the whole time!
What? What is going on? What are you doing
I can't swear on this channel, but all of you!
What? What is going on? Oh my God! Hold the phone. Like mind's blown. That wasn't Trump. This Hagen all along? All right, you know what? I don't know what else to say. We'll pick up some of the worst trades in FTFL history. One of the future 20 years of the FTFL. Back to the show. I mean, I love that in reference, of course, the 2nd-round pick that Jeff offered to Eric. That was all part of the setup, and it was all for Eric to get an extra 6th-round pick. Simply stunning. One of the all-time, I guess, memorable guests on the show over the years. But yeah, can't wait. More fun moments like that coming in future weeks. Back to the games. My hotspot gets all sorts of warmed up and ready to take on Team Linkowitz. And Team Linkowitz wasn't ready for my hotspot. Couldn't handle the heat. My hotspot, by the way, did come in at 2-2, taking on Team Linkowitz at 1-3. Jeff 92.5 to Adam Swartz 57.5. That is a 35 point, my Browerville math would tell me that. Victory. If you're Jeff, reaching for straws, Rico Dowdle, although maybe not. I don't know. Some people seem to have seen it coming. Got his big break, and break he did. 21.5 points for him. Oh my goodness gracious. Excuse me, man. Vulgar language, innuendo, beer drinking, burping. This is truly a fantasy football update show. Justin Fields, 20 points. Jake Ferguson, 17.5. Highest point total of the last 3 seasons for him. Some guy named Chase Brown, 5.5 points. Still not able to kick those tires, but it didn't really matter because 57.5 points is not nearly enough to get it done in this league. Patrick Mahomes, 22. Lad McConkey, 10.5. Everyone else had 6 or under. If you included all the players who were playing this week for Adam Swart, he would have scored a grand total of 93.5 points and would have beat Jeff by a point. However, we don't play your entire roster. Therefore, Adam Swart falls to 1-4. Will he be throwing in the towel, or will he take some of those extra draft picks and try to add assets now and get himself back into the game? Last game of the week, Team Dickweed coming in at 2-2, taking on the Valhalla Vandals at 1-3. And wouldn't you know it, Peter, out of the frying pan and away from the fire, if not just for this week. 77 for him, 72 for John. If you're Peter, Jalen Waddle, 19 points, no Tyreek Hill. Is this the new norm for Jalen Waddle? Deebo Samuel also, whereas Javonte Williams is definitely was a steal of the draft. Deebo Samuel is a somewhat, probably I guess second. I don't know about close second, but definitely a second on that list of people who were maybe overlooked as we went in. 16 for him, Justin Herbert, 12, 61 points on Peter's bench. Good God. If you're John, Saquon, 15 and a half. Jaden Daniels, Nico Collins both had a smooth dozen. Tyler Warren, 10 points. John falls to 2 and 3. The Valhalla Vandals pick up their second to win the season and move to 2 and 3. All right, let's do the stud, the dud, and I promise you, not one, but 2 new additions to the list. Let's get to it. Stud of the week, Dak Prescott, Kyron Williams, both big efforts and big wins for their teams. Dud of the week, Reichard missed a 5-point field goal. If he hits it, John ties the Valhalla Vandals. Now, there's some argument whether or not I hit a cable. I'm sure some of the Viking fans, had a hand reaching for certain areas and the kick went wide right and they weren't sure what to do. But he missed it, and John missed out on it. One of the few non-rookies on John's team also this week letting him down. Now, the list, the champs list, where, of course, we put individuals who have wronged me, who have caused me great grief and consternation. This week, I add 2. I think one of them is pretty straightforward. We all know that Kyler, Stupid Face Jr., Murray belongs on this list because he, in fact, is a stupid face and is a bum. Well, actually, sorry, Josh Allen, that one's been trademarked by you. Shouldn't be trusted by anyone ever in any sort of fantasy football capacity, let alone maybe even in the NFL. Probably should have gone off to play baseball. Seemed to be a far better baseball player than he is a football player. Maybe if he'd like to defend this take, he could come on my show during his bye week. Come on up, Kyler. I'll save a seat for you. I'll even get a phone book for you to sit on so people can actually see you looking into the camera. That's right. Take that. Now, oddly enough, let me tell you what. The second member of this is going to probably catch some of these people off guard. Because, for the first time ever, I'm putting myself on the list for not remembering, for not paying attention, for making the stupid mistake of drafting and starting Kyler Stupid Face Jr. Murray in the first place. So myself, me, I'm on my own damn list because I'm pissed at myself for having to go through what I went through last week, but never again. See you later, Kyler. Welcome home, Aaron. And now, the Week 6 games, here we go. The Mexican Cocktails coming in at 4-1, taking on, I may suck at fantasy football, but at least I got my keepers in at 3-2. Make Kramerica great again at 4-1, taking on Team Linkowitz at 1-4. My hotspot revs up for another intense week of action, coming in at 3-2, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys in the Pizza Bowl Part 2 at 1-4 for Adam. The Pack Attack at 3-2, taking on Team Dickweed at 2-3, and last but certainly not least, the Battle for the Hammer. The Hulkamaniacs coming into 2-3, taking on the Valhalla Vandals. Peter, if projections come to pass, it's going to need another whooping for you this week. But I guess, and again, that's why we play the games. Thanks, my friends, my family, all of my fans for joining me for another week of the episode, an episode of the Weekly Update. Let's go with that. And until next time, peace!